corporatization of politics, corporatization of the pillars of democracy, including the fourth pillar, that is the media. It appears the volcanic eruption of these scams one after the another. It is all aftershoot of the whatever policy was being discussed right from the morning. And today, it looks everything under the sky in this country is being cornered or controlled through back door or through front door by the corporates. This is not a question of now a challenge with the capitalism which you are facing. It is a capital-starved country which is facing what the economists call, I do not understand much about that, a chronic capitalism at its worst. The challenge is not only to the working class of this country. Challenge is not only to the intellectuals of this country. Challenge is not only to the professionals of the country. Its challenge is the state as a whole when it got independence in 1947. Because it's not, I'm not talking from beyond something. I heard even a few days back, certain people in this country are trying to have this preposterous idea that India's foray into industry or economy has all started after 91. As if from 1947 up to 1991 was a forgotten chapter. It should not be written anywhere, right from the media to everywhere. That's a chapter which we should not talk about. That is not a chapter to take pride of, where you have built so many things under the state enterprises. Today, when you are talking about Kerala's resurgence and the profit of 170 crores or 240 crores, 240 crores, okay, 240 crores. Now, I know some of my colleagues, the workers, employers, officers in ONGC, the most profitable company in this country, state-owned. What is its profit? 16,000 crore. 16,000 crore is the profit. Its surplus, reserve and surplus, as on 2009 and 2010 April, is 85,000 crores, reserve and surplus. It's a debt-free company without any debt from any banks. And today, the whole of the polity, if you see, this government is interested how to sell 15,000 crores out of that shares. It has a reserve and surplus of 85,000 crores. I think more than the Kerala state government's budget. And instead of what he's talking about, what you're talking about, 240 crores, it's not the profit alone. I mean, what was theoretically Professor Patnaik was trying to explain, it will go through the public enterprise survey of the central government of India. It is not a question of economics, it's specifically, logically, 85,000 crore surplus. And this government is saying this is the first priority. This is the biggest news. When 15,000 crores is being sold, 5% or 10% shares, for what? And while he is thinking, we are thinking for out of 240 crores, whether some money is being invested to create productive assets. This is one issue which is not touched. I was just thinking the profit is not the way. And it is not just vocabulary you are talking about. The profit is not the only motive. Profit is, but not the only, but what is this thinking? Second part, what is most important for the this public enterprise, especially the Sikh ones, the ones in the whole of this country. Now today the challenge is for last 20 years is between what you call a greenfield plant vis-a-vis a brownfield plant. And I asked many of these officials, when you have got a power plant where expansion could be done, I can say in the sphere where this ultra mega power plant has come in Sasan, in Madhya Pradesh, there are 3 NTPC plants. And each plant has got this expansion scope of another 500 to 800 megawatt. Each plant can add another 1 unit. You can create 2004 megawatt without any fresh investment, using the same infrastructure. But then why you go for a new plant of 4,000 megawatt? Why you, instead of expanding the refineries, mostly under government sector, instead of expansion which will have lesser cost? And most importantly, when this capital-starved country is now, there is a bitter struggle on land. Why should you go for a greenfield plants unless it becomes imperative? I don't say that there should not be new plants. But where old plants are there, infrastructure is there, even if it is closed in the states of UP, the states which I belong, West Bengal. This question of ownership, as Mr. Sundaram was telling, is absolutely, I don't know whose logic is this. So a lot of this, opinion-making section in this country, including, I must say, some semi-literate media, because we do not have in this country industrial correspondents. We have some literary correspondents who talk about industry, who write about industry, without understanding what an industry means. When you are having such a problem of land, and we having so much of vast lands locked in these enterprises, what is the basic object? Why you should go for on greenfield plants all the way? Some extensions, erections necessary, but where it exists, why don't we use these assets? One official told me, it is simple. It is 10% logic. If it's an expansion and modernization, renovation, reconstruction, what do I gain? It's a new land, new plant, new equipment, everything on turnkey, build, operate, transfer. If the package is 10,000, make a 10% of it, 1,000 crores, that will be distributed among all the stakeholders. The stakeholders who wanted this country to be privatized. The stakeholders whose economic independence started only from 1991 onwards. The stakeholders, I can say, for any worker, for any employee, for any professional worth its name, revival, reconstruction of an asset, whether it is public or private, that is much more challenging. Re-engineering, that is the term they use. I say re-engineering of a thing. You see, even the capitalist countries like America also, they do re-engineering. Reconstruction needs re-engineering, renovating, modernize those, upgradation of technology. These are the challenges which this country is prepared to face. But if you have another philosophy, set of mind, the corporatized mind of having turnkey, everything will come and a key will be turned, and you will find democracy has become a turnkey operator of the corporates. So this turnkey philosophy of build, operate, and transfer, that is the mindset, and that requires a tremendous fight. It's not the logic, it's not the economy. Now tell me how the efficiency of a ownership business, as he was telling, ownership and management are two different cups of tea. A confusion has been made for the last 20 years in this country. I do not know about other countries. I know about this country, where management and ownership has been bungled up. I have seen so many good companies in private sector. No one wants to look what is the shareholding pattern. Whether the professional body or professional financial institutions are having 40% share on this, or 60% or 30%. I have seen so many good public sector companies. Bharat Heavy Electricals, ONGC, Hindustan Aeronautics, so on and so forth. Now, no professional worth his name, no worker will show whether it is, what is the percentage of share. Now, there are some these scoundrels who are telling that if 5% shares are sold, then the company becomes efficient or inefficient. It is the management. How do you manage the company? The experience, 4.5 years, is the government wanted to revive. There has been no question about it. And you had improved the management. How to manage a company has got nothing to do with the ownership. I belong to a state, with that I belong to a state where after this BIFR came regarding sick PSUs and all, out of 46 public sector undertakings in West Bengal, 26 belong to the old famous companies private. They became sick. Martin Byrne, Andrew, so on and so forth. They became sick not because of ownership. Whether it was private or public, they become sick. It became because technology was old. Technology has gone out of it. There was no investment. And the companies are trying to get as much as out of it with a lot of lands, and government had to intervene to take over. It is not that philosophy. The question is, the finance capital is bent on having this whole thing to be handed over to them to control. And a government who challenges it, unless it has the support of the people, the working class, to fight for a reconstruction, cannot be fight alone for the state government of God's country alone, God's own country. It has to be a fight for all of us. It's international pressures, if we can build on this, very fair enough. But within the country, it's a fight for the democratic polity as a whole. Either we exist with the state control on these organizations, with state control on the core sector of industry, or we do not exist at all. That is the challenge before us. Thank you very much.
I'd request the Honorable Minister, Department of Industries and Commerce, Government of Kerala, Shri Elamaram Karim, to present the memento to our Chief Guest, Professor Jomo Kwame Sundaram. And also to our guest of honor, His Excellency Miguel Angel Ramirez, Ambassador of Cuba in India. Memento to our guest of honor. Thank you, sirs. May now request Mr. Alkesh Kumar Sharma, is Secretary, Department of Industries and Commerce, Government of Kerala, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Friends, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, last speaker can be the least desired, especially so if it is between the lunch and after a long session. So I will not come in the way. Especially most of you may be feeling hungry because most of us have come here early morning. So we come to the end of this inspiring and enlightening session now. The experts gathered here have thrown up interesting aspects on evolving strategies for the growth and development of SOEs. It has been a delightful experience, made memorable by the presence of our dignitaries on the dais. I would not go into the details of what state PSUs have shown because all the speakers have spoken before. As we all know, once regarded as a behemoth white elephant that bled the exchequer, public enterprises have today made important contribution to the state's economic development. Government's new industrial policy and practices of good corporate governance, coupled with professional management, have created a synergy of efforts at all levels. And that has shown the result, which is for all of us to see. And I feel it a privilege to propose a vote of thanks to all the dignitaries in this function. First of all, I would like to thank our Honorable Minister for Industries and Commerce, Sri Elamaram Karim, who is the driving force behind this resurgence. An able administrator, politician, and a trade union leader, he has exhibited excellent leadership qualities in leading the team in Industries Department. We have all learned and gained a lot from him. All of us in the Industries Department joined together in expressing our heartfelt gratitude and thanks to our Honorable Minister. Thank you, sir. We had in our midst today Honorable Minister for Food and Civil Supplies and Honorable Minister for Water Resources. They have encouraged us by their presence today. Both of them have brought about substantial professionalism and good governance practices in their departments, which we could see in the effective public distribution network and execution of timely water supply projects in the state. I take this opportunity to thank both of them. We have in our midst Professor Jomo Kwame Sundaram, Assistant Secretary General, who is the chief guest today from the United Nations. We are indeed grateful that he had accepted our invitation to share his thoughts with us, especially saying that privatization is not a panacea and SOE may be a necessity in some of the sectors. On behalf of the department and the state government, I take this opportunity to thank you, sir. We also have His Excellency, the Ambassador of Cuba in India, His Excellency Miguel Angel Ramirez. It is a great honor that he has specifically spoken about the role of state-owned enterprises, especially in elimination of disparities and in bringing about socioeconomic equalities in the society. We take this opportunity to thank you, sir, for being with us this morning. Of course, we have Professor Prabhat Patnaik, who plays a key role in our state's socioeconomic development in his pivotal position as the Vice Chairman of a State Planning Board. We in the department, and I have personally benefited from his excellent knowledge and understanding of economic as well as development issues. I take this opportunity to thank you, sir, for your brilliant address which you have delivered, and your benign presence this morning. Thank you, sir. Sri John Mathai, Chairman Riyab, and Sri T. Balkrishnan IAS. Of course, we are part of the host team, but I would still like to extend a formal vote of thanks to you, sir. Of course, we had a great presence of our trade union leaders, Sri T.J. Chandrachudan, General Secretary of RSP, Sri A.K. Padmanabhan, President of CITU, Mr. Dipankar Mukherjee from CITU, and of course, Advocate Tamban Thomas, President of Hind Mazdoor Sabha. They have given their suggestions. I am sure those ideas will go a long way in helping us in deliberating further in this conference. I also express our heartfelt gratitude to all the leaders of the industry, government officials, experts, planners, civil society representatives, our expert members from the planning board, and of course, special invitees who have come in this conference. I would like to thank the media representatives for disseminating the deliberations of this conference, which will go a long way in creating awareness and interest among the general public in the state. Last but not the least, I would like to thank my colleagues and peers from the Department of Industries and Commerce, Sri Padma Kumar, Secretary Riyab, Mr. N. Sashidharan Nair, Special Private Secretary, and Dr. Gop Kumar, Additional PS, and the other Special Private Secretaries of the Minister, and staff from Minister's Office, Chief Executive Officers, and Senior Executives from the public sector undertakings, both central and the state, and of course, representative of service organization who have all come to encourage us in this conference. I would like to extend thanks to all of you present here. Thank you.